98 Gold. Welcome into Touhyville, and we're excited to have on the show with us this morning Steve Hytner. You probably know him best from Seinfeld, but man, oh man, the list of your IMDb is incredible.
Yeah.
Steve, good morning. How are you?
I'm very good. Yeah, people don't realize quite what a whore I really am. Yeah.
Listen,
it's been a lot of shows.
Listen, I was an extra in the movie Save the Last Dance, and when I was doing stand up at the time, it was the #1 movie in America. So I would make the MC go, "He's currently in the #1 movie in America, Save the Last Dance."
That's so fun.
I don't care.
I got a buddy who always did that too. Like he'd be doing extra work on a De Niro movie, and he's like, "I just worked with De Niro last week." I'm like, "No, you didn't."
No, you didn't. Right.
Absolutely. Well, we're talking with Steve Hytner because he is going to be at an Oak Park Comedy Club, a new comedy club called Comedyplex this weekend, tonight and tomorrow. 2 shows tonight, 2 shows tomorrow. Exciting stuff. You can get your tickets at comedyplex.com. So we're excited to have you in Chicago. Of course, our show a little bit south of Chicago. We're on the air in Rensselaer, Indiana, which is about an hour and a half south of Chicago. So
I've heard of Rensselaer. Why have I heard of that? Is there a college there or something?
There is St. Joe's College. If you're a Bears fan, that's where the Bears were, like say during the Brian Song era with Gale Sayers and Dick Butkus and all them. So it used to be training camp here. So
well, I'm a New York Football Giant fan, so I have my own hell.
One more thing we can identify with. There we go.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Are you a Mets or a Yankees? Because either way, you're in the playoffs. So
I'm in the playoffs. I'm a long-suffering Met fan.
Yeah.
Very excited about that home run Alonso hit to unfortunately knock out the Brewers.
Yeah. Yeah. All good stuff there. So okay. So we mentioned that you've been in a ton of stuff. So
yeah.
I just want to bounce through a couple and just, maybe if you got a story or a thought from being on any of these shows that were some of my favorites.
Okay.
I'm currently in the process of rewatching 2.5 Men. So I'm trying to remember where you're at in 2.5 Men.
Okay, so 2.5 Men, I was the plastic surgeon for the show. If any of them had plastic surgery, I was on that episode.
Oh.
Yes, absolutely.
Now I'm getting older, so I could use your services.
Was that Shankman? Was that?
Yes, very good. Yeah.
Yes.
Because people come up to me with character names I've played, and I don't remember the character name that much. But yeah, that was Shankman. Yeah, because there was a joke about that, about the breast implants, and I was like, "Yep, those are Shankmans."
Those are Shankmans.
Oh, that's fantastic. Of course,
about Charlie. That was at the time when supposedly he was at his most insane. Right, his life was spiraling.
Oh, not winning and all that. That was
all that. I mean, it was at his insanity. And you know what? He showed up. He would be late, but when he got there, he knew his lines. He hit his marks. Like even at the height of his insanity, he knew how to work.
Wow.
Really? Okay. So
yeah.
I always wonder about that with like rock stars and stuff. Like, you see these behind the music of Motley Crue and things like that.
Yeah.
And these guys are so bombed out of their mind and they're playing 2-hour shows. I'm lucky if I can make it through a show just on coffee.
I know, and they're hitting spots where the spotlight is hitting them on a certain song. So like they know their stuff.
Yeah. I remember doing stand-up, and some of the club owners would try to send me shots up to the stage, and I'm like, listen, if you want me to end the show, don't send anything more than a beer. Like I can't be doing that. I have a hard enough time knowing what's going on, let alone you're trying to get me plastered up here.
As the headliner, basically contractually you have to do 45, but usually you do closer to an hour or something like that. But they'll always say to me, "Do you want a light just to let you know when you're near 45?" And I always go, no, you know what I want? I want a shot and a beer at a half hour.
Oh, there you go.
Half hour. They bring me up a shot and a beer, and I know where I am in my show. I know what time it is, and I also get the chance to take a break and talk to the crowd a little bit.
Okay, so I want to hear all about Boston Legal, because that was one of my favorite shows, and I would die laughing with Denny Crane.
Yeah,
Wasn't that Denny Crane?
Yeah.
For me, it was a great show because I got to do something like, that was not a comedic role. So for me, that was a blast. I was on the witness, at best I recall of that, I was on the witness stand, and I was a teacher, and I was not a good guy. And so anytime I get to rip into like a huge monologue where I play a jerk instead of, just always being the funny guy, I love it. So that's what I remember about that. And I remember that the director, I like when they let you do a lot of takes. Right, because I want to rip into it, and sometimes it takes a couple of takes to really know it well and stuff. And I remember that director was like, "Do it again, Steve. That was awesome. Let's have fun."
Wow, cool.
That's gotta be
now, how
great.
was William Shatner to work with?
I did not work with him, which was very disappointing to me as a Trekkie.
Yeah.
But my stuff wasn't with him, and that was a single camera show, so that I was in the courtroom scene, and so I didn't work with him.
So did you work with, who is the guy that we love from
James Spader?
James Spader.
Yeah. Well, first of all, it couldn't have been kinder. It couldn't have been nicer. Sometimes it's amazing. Like I was telling that story about Charlie. Another thing about, like, he was literally going through insanity, and I was doing a role on a show called Hung on HBO at the time. It was not the title role. Life was nuts, and he was like, "Hey, you're doing great stuff on Hung," and that's what Spader was like. He was just like, he knew several of my things from the past. He had mentioned them all. He couldn't have been more welcoming. Just an actor's actor.
That's great. Speaking of acting, by the way, we're talking with Steve Hytner. We're talking about his acting gigs, but he's going to be doing stand-up comedy tonight and tomorrow at the Comedy Plex in Oak Park. Find out more at comedyplex.com. We'll also throw it up on our Facebook page so you guys can check it out and get tickets there. How is it for you? You said you like doing a monologue and things. Memorization tricks. You have any trouble trying to nail down lines? I mean, I know with a sitcom, they could be rewriting while there's a crowd there. Is it tough to remember stuff?
That's the point right there. Is, look, I'm a really quick study, and I need that because I don't over memorize because it's going to change. So if you over memorize it, then the first thing you have to do is forget what you memorized. Right. So I always try and be light on my feet and just get it real quick, because I don't want to be too locked into something that they're just going to take out and I have to forget.
Got it. Now, different sets are different. I assume when you're on the set of a sitcom over on the set of a something serious like Boston Legal or something, you have more time as well with the Boston Legal. Like you said, one camera, and then they'll reset. They're going to set up the lighting, and they're going to take a half hour for a stand-in to be there. Where a sitcom, you're kind of flying. What were things like on the set of Seinfeld?
Well, the thing about that show, which obviously was a brilliant show, one of the greats of all time, but it's also fun to work on because Jerry was like, funny wins. So sometimes, say it's earlier in the week when you're rehearsing, and if I have an idea, I usually didn't voice it. But later on in the week, when you do a take and they're going to do another take and they're not exactly thrilled with how it went, you pitch an idea there and they like it. They're like, it's in, let's go. So you just have your thoughts of when you want to try something. And that show was amazing we're just looking for funny, and we don't care who wrote it.
So can I ask you, every woman, I think, not that I know every woman, but women are kind of have their list of creepy guys. Okay. So I saw that you were in the line of fire, and John Malkovich is definitely on my list of creepy guys. He'd be afraid I'd be sleeping with one eye open. How was he to work with?
He is as bizarre in a wonderful way. So in that movie, he's always messing with Clint Eastwood on the phone.
Yes.
Right. Oh. And that my part was like, I was the FBI guy trying to keep Eastwood to keep him on the phone longer. So I get into these fights with Eastwood. But my point being, Malkovich, when you do that stuff, you're on camera. So you're just doing your phone part. The other person isn't even on set that day because they're not on camera that day, right?
Yeah.
But Malkovich made them hook up a phone line from his trailer to the set. So he would come in on those days and just mess with Eastwood on the phone the whole time.
Oh, is that fantastic?
Wow.
That's great.
Wasn't on the sheet that day, and he'd just come in, sit in his trailer, and mess with him on the phone.
That is awesome. We're talking with Steve Hytner. He's going to be out at the Comedyplex tonight, tomorrow, 4 shows all weekend long. Get your tickets now at comedyplex.com. Steve, we really appreciate you taking time to jump on, and we surprised you that it was video and everything. But just a blast having you in and hearing some of these stories. What can people expect from your shows this weekend? That they know you as an actor, they know you, serious and funny. What can they expect from your stand-up?
You know what? I don't really do I don't really do bits on these kind of interview shows. I kind of put it this way. I'll tell you what you're not gonna get. I'm not doing any political crap. I think people are sick to death of it. I think people want to have a couple of drinks and some laughs, So I don't do any of that. I talk about life. I talk about stuff everybody relates to. Make fun of myself. I might make fun of people in the room. And I'm all about let's have some laughs and forget the crap right now.
Well, I got to tell you that that fits perfect into our radio show. We don't touch politics. We always say that our show is wingless. We're not left wing. We're not right wing. So we just have fun every morning. We're an escape from all that stuff. We have news once an hour on the show. You can get stuff there if you need it. But once that's done, we're just here having fun. We're just and that's what we're about.
For me, with the Seinfeld connection, really what I do in my show is I like to come out and kick some butt for about a half hour. And I don't even mention the Seinfeld stuff until later in the show because people want me to talk about it a little bit because, it was important in their lives. But my point is to come out and kick some butt as a comedian for a half hour, and then I'll get around to it.
That's fantastic.
Hi, this is Steve Hytner. You may know me from Seinfeld, but you're listening to Steve and Cheryl on Touhyville.
Steve, I appreciate you taking the time. Have yourself a great day. Thank you so much.
Great meeting both of you. Keep love alive, kids.